This is all our Ionic code, but you should notice one thing, that is input and variables binding. Two-way data binding of view doesn't work in Ionic, but I managed it with some extra code. This code is enough if you are working in Vue, but if you are using Ionic with Vue, then you should add these two lines of code. For more detail of this issue of Vue in Ionic, you should read this thread, especially this answer. Now let's explore the binding a bit more. The email field and the password field, which you can see here, these two fields are binded to these two variables, and the login button is binded with with login function. This is our next thing is Wix. As you know, Wix is the data store of Vue and its data is available in all the component. And this simple app, I will access my Wix data store from both components. Now I import Wix to my application. So here inside the src folder, I create one another folder. I call it store, and inside store I create one file that is index.js. I will write all my Wix code in this index.js, which is inside the store. I copy the code from my another project to save time and paste it here. Okay, so let's explore the Wix code. Okay, first I importing Vue, Wix and Axios. Then I use Wix and Axios. This is something like integration of Wix and Axios. Then I create the object of Wix store. Okay, and inside the Wix store I have three objects: state, getters, mutations and actions. So these are four different objects inside the Wix store. So let's talk about the that why that what is the purpose of each store. Actually, state store the data, the variables. Getter functions return the data of our variables which are inside the state object. mutation Mutation functions change the data of the change the data or the variable which are inside the state object. And from actions we call mutation, and mutation functions change the data. From actions we can call mutation which change the data, or from action we can call the getters which returns the data. Once again, from action I can call the mutation, and the mutation function can update the states. And from actions I can also call getter functions which returns the state values or state variables. Okay, so as you can see, this function is accepting one parameter, that is state, and through this parameter I can access our states, our variables. Okay, now in mutation object we have one function that is set token, and set token accepts two parameters, one is state and the another one is token. Okay, so through state parameter we access this variable, and we assign this value, this second parameter to our variable. And the last method is login, which are inside the actions object. Okay, so it accepts two parameter, the context and the payload. The payload is actually the data which we are passing to this function, and through context we can call mutation and getters. As I told you, inside actions we can call mutations and getters, but we call them with the help of context parameter. Okay, so inside the login function I'm calling this API by using post method, and I pass the name and the password. So the payload is actually an object which has name and password. And this API, when it returns some response, then I through this parameter I commit our mutation function and pass this data, this response dot data. And this is the response dot data I receive here as a token, and I assign it to this variable, and then I redirect the user to dashboard. And if I receive error in response, then I log the error. Okay, this is simple login function. Now, and from this login function I will dispatch my login action, this one. Okay, I dispatch the login action, and I pass an object which has name and password, and I receive this object as a payload, and then how I get the name and password from this payload. Okay, so let's explore Vex a bit theoretically. Actually, from the component, I am dispatching action, and my action is calling an API through this API, the backend API, and then the action commit mutation, and mutation change the state, and I get the new state in the component. I render the new state in the view component. And this is dev tools. The tools also maintain the history of mutations, the changes to our states. One thing I forgot is I need to import the Vix store to our application. This is the line. Where is manjs?